The sea looks calm on the surface, but deep below, currents never stop moving. She may act like nothing happened. She may smile, post, laugh, and carry on. She may even look right through you as if you were never there. But what the eyes deny, the heart often hides, and what the ego won't say, the soul still feels. She acts like she doesn't care, but she's hooked on something she can't quite explain. Not because of what you said, but because of what she felt in your presence. Not all feelings wear a visible face. Many of the deepest emotions remain unspoken, hidden behind controlled expressions and casual responses. When a woman truly feels something, especially if it catches her off guard or makes her feel vulnerable, her instinct is often to protect that space. That protection can look like indifference. It can sound like silence. But that doesn't mean the feelings are gone. It means they're being guarded. She may act like nothing affects her. She may laugh with friends, post confidently, or carry herself like you never mattered. But if the connection between you stirred something real, she didn't walk away untouched. She simply learned to mask it. This isn't a game. It's often how people survive their emotions by not letting them show, especially when the emotions are strong, unpredictable, or harder to accept. Sometimes it's easier for her to pretend she doesn't care than to confront the truth of how much she actually does. That truth might scare her. It might make her question her own strength, so she hides it. But hiding is not forgetting. Hiding is not healing. The feeling still lives within her, quietly shaping her thoughts and emotions beneath the surface. Won't always see regret in her eyes or hear longing in her words. You won't always get closure in the form of confession. But that doesn't mean there's nothing left. The truth is often in what's not said. Her behavior may say one thing, but the emotional imprint you left lingers in ways she can't easily shake. So don't be misled by what's on the surface. Stillness can hold storms. And indifference, when looked at closely, often masks a heart still wrestling with what it felt, but can't yet admit. When a connection goes beyond words, it leaves more than just a memory. It leaves a sensation. Something you can't explain, but you feel it. If she once felt truly safe, seen, or awakened in your presence, that experience stays with her, even if the relationship ended. It doesn't live in the mind alone. It lives in the body like a familiar rhythm, a remembered calm, or an echo that reappears when everything else is quiet. Science tells us that emotionally charged experiences get stored deep in the nervous system. That means it's not just a thought she forgets or keeps, it's a feeling her body remembers. The way your presence once settled her, the energy between you, the tone in your voice, the way you listened without judging, these things imprint themselves in places no message can reach. And they don't fade easily. She might not talk about it. She might not act like it meant much. But there are moments when that memory awakens without warning. It could be a scent, a song, a sentence someone else says. And suddenly, for a moment, she's not where she is. She's with you in a memory, in a feeling her body never unlearned. This is why people sometimes feel hooked, even when they try to let go. Because it's not logic keeping them tied, it's memory stored in emotion. And when the feeling was real, no performance of indifference can fully erase it. So even if she keeps her distance, and even if she appears untouched, understand this. Her heart and body remember more than her words admit. And sometimes, what she feels in your absence is far louder than anything she ever told you while you were near. When a woman feels something deep for someone but isn't sure what to do with those feelings, she may start to pull away. Not because she doesn't care, but because she does. That emotional pull can be overwhelming, especially if it makes her feel vulnerable or exposed. So rather than showing interest directly, she may do the opposite. She withholds attention, avoids eye contact, and acts distant. This is not rejection. It's often a quiet test. She wants to know what you're made of, not your charm. Not your words, but your presence under pressure. Can you hold your frame when she steps back? Can you remain centered, calm, and unfazed when she doesn't respond? She's observing whether your interest is rooted in need or in grounded confidence. If you panic, chase, or demand her attention, it tells her you're not ready for her emotional depth. But if you stay still, composed, and consistent, it sends a different message entirely. This is the test most men fail. They mistake the withdrawal as a sign she's no longer interested, and they either push harder or disappear completely. But the man who remains steady, who respects the space and remains grounded in his self-worth, triggers curiosity, respect, and a deeper sense of safety, because what she's really looking for isn't someone who needs her constantly, it's someone strong enough not to. That kind of quiet strength creates an invisible pull. She may try to act like you don't affect her, but inside, she's watching closely. Every time you respond with patience and self-respect, you show her something rare. A man who doesn't just want her but understands her nature. And that understanding is what keeps her emotionally connected, even when she's trying to act like she's not. Growth creates gravity. When you evolve not to impress anyone, but to genuinely become better, you create a silent force that draws attention without effort. This isn't about external achievements alone. It's about becoming sharper mentally, stronger emotionally, more disciplined in your habits, and clearer in your purpose. That kind of internal transformation is felt, even by those who no longer speak to you. When she sees that you've shifted through your actions, your energy, or even your silence, she starts to notice the gap between who you were and who you've become. That contrast becomes hard to ignore. The man she remembers may have had potential, but the man you are now embodies it. And without saying a word, you begin to reshape her memory of you. The version of you she left behind no longer exists. You've outgrown it. And that changes everything. People don't just remember what you did. They remember how you made them feel. If you once left her with unresolved thoughts or emotions, your growth will cause her to revisit those memories. But this time, through a new lens, she'll compare the past with the present. And if the new version of you reflects strength, peace, and clarity, she will feel that, even from a distance. This kind of evolution doesn't beg for attention. It commands it. Not because you're trying to prove something, but because the quiet power of growth makes people reevaluate what they once thought they knew. She may not say anything, but in her mind, questions begin to form. Curiosity returns. And that curiosity, when paired with emotional memory, creates a silent pull. So if she sees the man you've become, and that version surpasses who you were, there's a strong chance she won't just notice. She'll feel drawn back without fully understanding why. When someone is always available, always reaching out, always trying to stay present in someone's life, it becomes background noise. Familiar, expected, and eventually overlooked. But the moment you pull your energy back, something shifts. You create a void. And in that space, your absence starts speaking in ways your words never could. There is a quiet power in no longer showing up where you used to. When the messages stop, when the checking in disappears, when you stop being the one to initiate, your presence turns into absence. And for someone who was used to that presence, it becomes noticeable, even if she acted like she didn't care. Before, she will feel the change now. She might not admit it. She might not reach out right away. But in moments of silence, her mind will wander. She will wonder what changed. She will feel the shift even if she doesn't understand it. That's because your absence is not just silence, it's space for reflection. It's the removal of energy that once brought comfort, attention, and consistency. People only begin to realize the value of your presence once they experience life without it. The contrast is what wakes them up. When she sees that you're no Longer chasing, no longer waiting, no longer pouring into what didn't pour back. Your absence becomes louder than your presence ever was. This is not about manipulation or punishment. It's about reclaiming your energy, standing still in your worth, letting silence carry the message that words couldn't. And when the heart was once connected, it will feel that silence, not with anger, but with reflection. And often, reflection is the beginning of return, because what used to feel ordinary now feels rare, and what was once taken for granted is suddenly missed. There is something timeless about emotional safety. It lingers long after the conversations end, long after the physical presence fades. A woman may leave, she may move on, she may even try to convince herself that she's done. But the heart always remembers where it felt understood, accepted, and safe. That memory doesn't fade with time, it grows louder in contrast to what comes after. She may explore new connections. She may meet people who excite her for a moment. But emotional safety is rare. It's not built through charm or attraction. It's built through presence, patience, and deep understanding. If she felt those things with you, that part of her won't forget. Even if she acts distant, her heart recalls how it felt to be around you, calm, grounded, seen. That kind of energy doesn't get replaced easily. And when she eventually feels the noise of the world again, the shallow conversations, the forced connections, the lack of emotional depth, her thoughts drift back. Not because you were perfect, but because you were real. You offered a space where her guard could drop, even if just a little. And that space becomes a quiet longing over time. The heart doesn't chase excitement forever. Eventually, it seeks home. And when she closes her eyes at night or finds herself lost in thought, what rises is not the thrill, it's the peace she once felt in your presence. That feeling becomes a compass. And if her soul is still connected to yours, she will follow that feeling back. You don't have to remind her. You don't have to prove anything. Just continue being that space for yourself first. Because when she's ready to stop pretending, she'll remember where hurt once felt most alive. And that memory will guide her back without a word. From you. Do not let her performance fool you. The act is strong, but the soul is speaking. She thinks of you not because you remind her, but because something within her won't let her forget. So don't chase. Don't question. Don't crumble. Stand still. Grow in silence. And trust what was real, because the heart may hide, but it never lies. And one day quietly, suddenly, fully, she'll stop acting and start feeling again.